more like
Welcome
it.
to the 14th Annual New York Sunworks Discovering Sustainability Science Youth Conference. My name is Erin.
And I'm Sage, and we're going to be your hosts today.
We are members of the New York Sunworks Growth Support Team, and we are thrilled to be back this year at this incredible venue, the Javits Center. We want to thank our sponsors who are joining us today. We've got Con Edison, CVC, EY, Delta, and the New York Power Authority. Without their continued support of our programs, we wouldn't have this beautiful conference year after year.
We are here today to celebrate science and the wonderful work that you have all accomplished. Our farmer scientists who continue to learn about and work toward a better and more sustainable future. First, we will hear from Joyce Levittson, the CEO of the New York Convention Center Operating Corporation. They manage this impressive space that we're in today.
After that, our first group of student presentations is all about growing.
That's right, Erin. Farmer scientists will share their investigations that they're running in their hydroponic classrooms, with topics including cross-pollination, geotropism, integrated pest management, and more. These farmer scientists are excited to share their research findings with you all.
Yeah, we're gonna have an awesome time. Keep the energy high, keep the vibes positive, and without further ado, we'll get started.
Well, hello. I will not waste a lot of time today. My name is Joyce Levittson, and I'm the CEO here at the Javits Center. Do you like this place? Is it beautiful? Yeah. Thank you for coming today. Thank you so much. We have so much in store for you. We have a beautiful farm. We're growing on the rooftop here at Javits. We have a green room. You're going to be able to see that, a greenhouse. And more importantly, we have you. You are special, you are welcome, and I am so pleased to meet you all. So please, let's give a big round of applause for some amazing students that's going to come up and talk to you today, all right? Have a great
Good morning. We're here to share our battle between the good and bad bugs. This is our hydroponic garden at PS 199. A hydroponic garden is an indoor farm that is run by a strip of water moving under the plants and being reused and recycled. They have lights, normally LED. Hydroponics can give plants all the things they need and never have to worry about thunderstorms or droughts. Of course, even when you can control the light, water, and nutrients, you never know when something good can go bad.
We didn't realize it, but our NYC Sunworks partner, Miss Sage, told us we have thrips in our hydroponic garden. She toured us around and showed us shiny leaves with holes and discoloration. Our garden was becoming a complete mess. Thrips can be identified by finding shiny leaves, silvery or pale spots, tiny pale spots, or leaf discoloration, along with tiny black specks on your plants, especially on the undersides of leaves.
There are 6,000 species of thrip, but we are not quite sure which kind we have. The two most common species are the western flower thrip and the tobacco thrip. Western flower thrips are small with narrow wings, and they're yellow to dark brown in color. Tobacco thrips are 1 to 2 millimeters long with fringed wings, and they are dark brown to black in color. Another way to identify thrips is looking at your leaves, especially the undersides, and looking for frass, which are black and white specks, and it's a waste material that thrips produce.
There are multiple known ways to get rid of thrip. Pesticides, which can be dangerous chemicals or organic/natural substances that can be used. Examples would be neem oil, insecticidal soaps, and Parithion. Being that this is a school and these are crops we would like to eat, we need another solution. This led us to integrated pest management, IPM for short. This is like bringing the Avengers but in tiny insect form. We could get rid of the bad bugs by using the good bugs. Insects such as ladybugs, minute pyrobugs, Hyplasphus miles, and green lacewings, which are predators to the thrip and eat them.
Now let's introduce you to our superheroes. First up, we got the ladybugs, and they're the generalists. Ladybugs love to eat plant-eating insects, such as thrips. They are very fun to have in the lab, as when one lands on you, they say it's good luck. They're considered beneficial as they eat more than just thrips, but they also eat aphids, which are also a very harmful kind of plant-eating insect. They're 2.5 to 3.5 millimeters tall. Next up at bat, we got the minute pirate bug, and guys, don't worry, your gold's safe. Or any other valuables, really. Minute pirate bugs are small and are very small, and they're voracious eaters, and they love dining on thrips. And they only like to stick to plants, so you won't find them crawling around anywhere.
Next up at bat is the Hypoaspis miles. They only live 3 to 6 weeks, but during their larval stage, they eat massive amounts of prey. In other words, thrips for dinner. Last, the green lacewing. Another generalist will eat thrips and other pests. Yes. Once again, during the larval stage, green lacewings eat hundreds of aphids, caterpillars, mites, and thrips daily. There are many other beneficial insects, but these are a few we used.
When we first started on our battle against the thrips, we started with spraying neem oil, but those cheeky pests wouldn't budge with our natural treatment. Next, it was time to bring in the ladybugs. We actually had ladybugs in our garden already, but there wasn't enough of them to make a difference. No offense, ladybugs. Now, the thrips had our full attention, and we were not messing around. We brought in the A team, minute pirate bugs, Hypoaspis mouse, and green lacewings. A week or so later, we were winning the war between the thrips and the beneficial bugs. We never quite figured out where the thrips came from, but we don't miss them.
Good news, we think we've got our problem under control. We will release some more minute pirate bugs and ladybugs to be sure things stay under control this spring. While we don't enjoy seeing our crops damaged and others completely destroyed, where we need to clear our hydroponic system, we did learn about the benefits of IPM. So the next time a farmer scientist asks, bad bugs, what you gonna do? The answer is to bring in the good ones and save your crops with IPM. Thank you. I'm Miles.
This is Rohan.
DJ?
And Parker, and a special thanks to Marks and Sebastian. And thank you for being a great audience.
OMG, I love your bracelet.
Yeah, where'd you get it from? It looks really cool.
I actually made it, and it has basil in it. Oh wow, that's amazing.
What do you call it?
Hydrocraftivism. Hi, I'm Andrea.
I'm Freya.
I'm Isabella, and we represent Weston Secondary School.
Our presentation showcases that plants are more than just food. They're a fashion statement.
We crafted these items because the plants in our hydroponic system weren't getting used.
This way, we take waste and transform it into art. We want to spread awareness about our hydroponics by using items as statement pieces and conversation starters.
We realized one day that sometimes we have too many plants. While harvesting, there was an overflow of plants that not everybody was able to take home. So we came up with an idea. What if we turn them into everyday art or jewelry?
To turn this idea into a reality, we got a UV resin kit. We found plants that we had too much of. We made a plan. We put each of the plants into a mold, and we added resin, and we ended up with beautiful jewelry and art pieces.
These are statement pieces. For me, I chose a bangle because it's one of my favorite things to wear on my arm, other than gloves. To me, bangles are a sign of protection, and I feel very safe when wearing one.
I chose a coaster because it provides a sense of safety. To me, coasters mean you'll be able to protect treasured memories, like my coffee table, from the past and the ones that are yet to come.
We don't have a picture of it, but for my statement piece, I chose a ring because it is a symbol that some things never end and will go on forever.
Here are some examples of the types of jewelry that we've made. We've made necklaces, bracelets, and rings.
These are our steps to create the resin arts. The first step, we found extra plants and flowers of our personal choice. We pressed them in our flower presser. This step took about 2 to 3 days. By doing this, we were able to fit them easily in our molds.
We put the flower or plant in our chosen mold and added resin into it. We mixed color with the resin to make the overall design cooler. After, we let it cook under the UV light for 10 to 60 minutes, depending on the size of the item and what the item actually was.
After the mold finished drying, we took our jewelry out of the different molds and decorated our beautiful handcrafted accessories with stickers and glitter, and used chains to finish off certain items like necklaces and keychains.
It's easy. You don't need any artistic knowledge to create these resin arts at home or in your hydroponics classrooms.
Good, because I am not artistic at all, but I can still make this.
Yes, with the materials needed and the simple steps followed, you can create beautiful art just like we did. No longer will there be wasted plants in your hydroponic system, and you get a cute art piece out of it.
I'm Andrea.
I'm Freya.
And I'm Isabella.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melsa.
Hi, my name is Ema. Hi, my name is Robin.
And we are second graders from PS34.
We have been studying hydroponics. We've done experiments about roots.
We know that they provide water to the plant. We wondered if roots always go down.
To figure out which way roots grow, we used a bean. The bottom of the bean is white.
Raise your hand if you see the white spot on the bottom of the bean. Okay, put your hands down.
The white spot represents the bottom of the bean. The opposite side is the top. We planted the bottom facing the middle and the top facing the outside.
We observed the root growth after 1 week. On most beans, no matter which way the white dot is facing, we saw that the roots go down.
We learned that the roots grow down because of the force of gravity. Gravity is the force that pulls everything toward the center of the earth. Martha, Ema, can you jump for me? Gravity is the force that makes them come back to Earth instead of floating away to space. Gravity is an invisible force. That's why we don't see a giant hand pushing them down when they jumped. Nobody's angry at us, it's just the force of gravity. We learned that the directional growth of roots in response to gravity is called geotropism.
Geo is ancient Greek for earth, and tropism means turning movement. So geotropism is the turning growth movement of earth because of gravity.
In our hydroponic system, we started by adding water and nutrients to the reservoir, and this reaches the roots of the plant. Without gravity and geotropism, a plant would have a difficult time growing in our hydroponic system.
We
had a lot of fun learning about roots. What do you know about roots?
Hello, we are from Middle College High School. My name is Joseph Arvalo.
My name is Jocelyn.
And I'm Yaretz.
We're presenting a hydroponics versus regular soil. Our objective with this project was to figure out how hydroponics could be better for the environment and how it could be a better way of growing plants.
So a big problem in this environment is climate change, and we were looking to see how we could mitigate climate change by using a sustainability resource. Our research question was, how does types of environment growing your plants affect the amount of weight and rate of growth?
So the pros of hydroponics is that it uses less water, it releases less CO2 in the environment, and it's sustainable. You can plant locally, and you don't need that much land compared to traditional farming. And the crops grow faster in any season, like it could be winter, fall, any season, and they would grow still. Some of the cons of the hydroponics is that it does use a lot of energy and it's pretty expensive. The cheapest hydroponic system you can get is like $300, but the highest it is like $10,000.
Pros about planting traditionally is it is a cheaper cost, getting its nutrients by a more natural way, which is the soil, photosynthesis. But a mistake is easier to forgive when you're using a hydroponic system. And some cons about planting traditionally is it does use a lot of space. It releases carbon emissions into the environment because for that land you do need to cause deforestation. Pesticides affect the plants and people have to do hard labor for it.
Our hypothesis was if hydroponics can be used to grow plants instead of using the soil, the final growth would be distinguishably different because hydroponics grow faster and are better for the environment, and it would show a big difference. Our experimental design was, our control group was the plants being grown in soil, so we could compare them to our experimental group, the plants being grown in the hydroponic system. Our independent variables were the type of environment that you would grow your plant, and our dependent variable was our final growth at the end of the experiment.
We were trying to get quantitative data and qualitative data because in our school, the plants that we harvest, they do get eaten by staff members, students, so it won't go to waste. So you want to also see like which ones taste better, which one has more like a good smell to it, color, not just how much they weigh and how much they grow. These are the materials that we use for it.
We put soil into a biodegradable pot, and we also put seeds in. We also did the same with a rock wool that was put into a biodegradable, that was put into a hydroponic system. These are some pictures of our experiment as the weeks went by. At the bottom here are the ones that were put before they were transplanted into the hydroponic system, and the top ones are the control group, the ones that we grew in regular soil.
As you can see that the hydroponic system were growing faster and better. They looked more alive than the soil one. That was week 1, week 2, and week 3 is when we transferred the rock wool into the hydroponic system. So before spring break, our plants did look different. It looked like the hydroponic system was doing way better than the soil one. The soil one was doing good. But then after break, no one was there to take care of our plants much. So our hydroponic system plant were like getting a little damaged. And our soil one, it did seem like it started to bloom more.
Before the weekend that just passed by, we compared our final growth, and the top one, as you can see, the bottom is the final growth of the hydroponic one, and it looks, and to the left is the final. As you can see, it's very distinguishable, the difference between the plants grown in soil and the plants grown in the hydroponic system. As you can tell, the ones grown in soil look dried out, and they don't really look much alive anymore. The hydroponic system looks like they're still flourishing and still growing the way they should be.
This was our data. Like the hydroponic final weight was 2g more for the cucumbers, and then for the lettuce it was 4g more, and then for the soil it was only 0.5 for both of how much the growth was. To conclude, our hypothesis was accepted. The plants in the hydroponic system did grow better. It did also look better, and it weighted more. Our sources of error was that the soil wasn't weighted like alone. We had to weight it with without the pot's weight in the beginning. And then spring break happened, and only plants with the soil was taken care of. And the hydroponic system was just left in school with no one to watch over it and see if it needed anything. And also for the last weekend, our soil plant wasn't watered, and so a drought occurred, which is also a big negative thing about planting with traditional in soil, that if you're in an area where it's really hot, droughts can happen, and it could affect their plants really bad.
Good morning. We are the PS150 Green Team. We are presenting about plant batteries. My name is Aranza.
My name is Viviana. My name is Catherine.
That is the design process, and our goal is to use the engineering process to create an eco-friendly plant battery. Ask yourself, how do batteries work? Are there different kinds of batteries? How do you make a plant battery? Imagine, what if we use what we learned about batteries to create a soil or plant battery that won't harm either a plant or the environment?
Plan. We planned two different possible plant battery designs. One, the compost plant battery, and two, the nutrient plant battery. We used 2 cups of compost, 2 cups of potting soil, and 1 healthy basil plant. We used a copper tubing and a magnesium rods as the electrolytes and the connected circuit using the alligator clip wires. We use compost to feed the bacteria so that they can release electrons during their digestive process. Create the nutrient battery. We used 4 cups of potting soil and 1 healthy basil plant. We added 2 tablespoons of plant nutrients to the water and added it to the soil. We used copper tubing and a magnesium rod as the electrodes connected the circuit using the alligator clip wires. We used the nutrients to feed the bacteria so that they can release electrons during their digestive process. First test. The compost battery did 0.9. And then we tested the voltage of each battery with a millimeter. A regular D battery was 1.4 volts. Both of our batteries were just slightly less than that.
The compost battery plant stayed healthy, but did not give enough voltage to lit the bulb. The nutrients battery created a small amount of voltage, and also the basil plant died. Since neither plant battery created enough voltage to light a bulb, we continued to research for ideas. After experimenting with D battery circuits, we decided to create another compost battery to double our voltage. Retest. We created a second compost battery and added it in series with the first. Our voltage increased to 1.6 volts. Unfortunately, it still did not light up the bulb.
If you fail, never give up, because fail means first attempt in learning.
Not done though. Moving forward, we are continuing our research into ways to increase the amount of energy generated by our plant battery while keeping the plants healthy and happy. Some ideas for the future trial are adjust the circuit to a parallel circuit to boost the amps. Use electrolyte water to make the soil more conductive. Stay tuned.
My name is Alana Spencer from Careers in Sports. This is my project called Electric Blues. Oh, okay. So, when starting this experiment, I used 3 beakers with 3 rock wools, sticking a hole in them with a pencil, and putting 2 kale seeds called Black Magic. I would use a blue dye and plant nutrients, changing the water every 2 days and exposing it to sunlight. Beaker 1 had 3 drops of dye, Beaker 2 had 4, and Beaker 3 had 5. The initial thought when adding the blue color dye in my plants was to see if the dye would have a positive or negative effect. This is an original look on Black Magic, the kale seeds. My setup was the control group, and it was the tower system in my school that had standard care and had no dye. The experimental for mine was dye and nutrients. The independent variable was the dye, the dependent variable was the growth, and the constant was 250 milliliters of water, nutrients, and the location of my plants. Damn, that looks dirty. But this is where it was, window, light, and the blue water. During the first couple of days, the Black Magic was resilient to grow, but it did grow with different amounts of dye applied. Beaker 1 took 2 to 3 weeks to grow, like 1 to 1 to 2 centimeters. Beaker 2 had between 2 to 3 weeks and did not have no progress. Beaker 3 grew rapidly and sprouted with shades of yellow, blue, and green. That's Beaker 5. Oh, Beaker 3, but 5 months of dye. This is 2, nothing. Beaker 3, yeah. My hypothesis was supported because it did grow, but it grew like really slow. During my project, people had questions like, was the dye similar to toxins? And would it have the same reaction as pollution? And if a different color dye was used, would it have impacted the growth? Yeah.
Aquaponic farms.
Hello, good morning. My name is Lily.
Hi, good morning. My name is Elena.
Hi, good morning. My name is Angel.
And we are from
JHS 218 East New York in Brooklyn.
Oh, shoot. We all know you fellow farmer scientists have outstanding hydroponic systems, but do you have an aquaponic tank just as we do? Here are some questions to consider. Think, does the aquatic tank nutrients help the plants grow faster, and will it be healthier in terms of disease, meaning no pests whatsoever? Here's our hypothesis. If we grow our crops in the aquatic tank, maintaining a high level of nutrients produced by the fish, as well as a 7.0 pH, then the plants will thrive and grow faster. I will now be passing it on to my friend Elena.
Hello, our prediction was that the crops in the aquaponic tank will grow faster due to the high nutrients produced by the tilapia fish. Our conflict was that the fishes were not producing enough nutrients for the crops to grow fast. And we were scared if we add our own nutrients, the crops will grow, but they will not, our fishes will be harmed, and our crops will take a toll on the crops. Here are some of the photos we collected. If you see in the first photo of our aqua tank, you see that the crops are not doing their best, but remember this, because soon you're going to be able to do a compare and contrast with our other system, aka the tower system. Now I'm going to be passing it on to my friend named Angel.
The reason the crops in the tower system were growing faster than the crops in the aquatic tank is because the fish were not producing enough nutrients. So the crops were not getting the nutrients they needed to be able to grow faster. These are the photos of the tower system that we've collected. As you can see, these plants are fully grown, unlike the crops in the aquatic tank that we previously saw. As a result, we have learned that nutrients can have a huge impact on the growth of plants.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Hello, we're the Green Bulldogs from Robert E. Bell Middle School in Chapel, New York. I'm Clara.
I'm Alice.
And I'm George. Here's a look at some of the work that we've been doing this year.
One of our projects was lactofermentation. Fermentation is a process where bacteria breaks down carbohydrates and sugars into lactic acid. Lactic acid extends the shelf life of foods by making it harder for microorganisms to grow, and fermentation is different from pickling. Pickling uses an acid like vinegar in the brine from the start, and lactofermentation relies on bacteria to break down sugars and create the acid. Both processes preserve food.
First, we picked cucumbers, sliced and trimmed them. Then we made a simple brine using filtered water, pickling spices, kosher salt, garlic, and cloves. Then we poured the brine into glass jars, covered the jars loosely to allow gases to escape, and waited about a week. The pickles tasted delicious.
Why should we consider lactofermentation? It extends the shelf life of food, and the brine can also be used in some cooking. It is a natural process that does not require energy. It encourages local food production, and it can be a way to make nutritious food available to many. It is also affordable, and it can encourage community empowerment.
We also are in the process of experimenting with cross-pollination. Our goals are to achieve more efficient crop growth and quality using less energy that would give us more control over the food we grow.
There are 3 different methods we are trying: using a brush to transfer the pollen between plants, using a cotton swab, and shaking plants. We are waiting until more of our plants flower to see how much we can achieve.
And here's our biggest challenge: how to get rid of aphids in our indoor hydroponics classroom. We noticed fluffy specks on the cucumber plants, and soon there was a giant population thriving in our room. Aphids can multiply very fast. They do not have to mate in order to reproduce. Female aphids are clones of their mother, and most aphids can be born pregnant. You see the graph how one aphid can become 100. Besides a nuisance in the classroom, what is their effect on plants? Aphids suck out leaves and extract honeydew, which is a sugary liquid, into leaves. The substance can attract other insects. Soon enough, sooty mold forms. The mold is a fungus that thrives on honeydew. The mold blocks light and prevents photosynthesis. This can lead to stunned plant growth and the death of the plant. We wondered how they could get inside the classroom, which is far from the entrances of school. Most likely they came in through an open window. We had to keep our classroom windows open because there was an overactive heater and we needed to cool down the classroom. How can we deal with this? The school will not permit ladybugs indoors, and we won't use pesticides. We have tried manually removing them or spraying them with neem oil, water mixture on leaves. Some lettuce plants have so many curls and places for them to hide that it doesn't completely solve the problem. We also tried companion planting, NFT, using marigolds, cilantro, and basil, which repel aphids. On the day we took these photos, lettuce plants next to more than one plant that repels aphids worked better than plants next to only one aphid-repelling plant. But since that day, we have become overrun with aphids again, so we have to figure out the next steps or a better solution.
Why did we choose these inquiries? To extend shelf life of food we grow, to give plants the best chance to survive, to encourage higher crop yield, and to look into ways to make more healthy food available to more people. Thank you for listening.
Wow, all of those presentations were so inspiring. Now, I know a few of you came in a little late, so just a quick reintroduction. My name is Sage.
And I'm Erin.
Isn't it nice to hear about all these incredible things that the students are doing in their hydroponic classrooms?
Yeah, dude. Thinking about all the stuff that these students are accomplishing and the things they're curious to experiment with really just makes me so proud. Sage, how long have you been working with plants?
You know, that's a great question, Erin. I've been growing hydroponically for the last 5 years, and I've been working in your hydroponic classroom since 2023. I'm passionate about food and supporting communities through access to fresh food, but when I'm not busy tending to tangled tomato trellises and pollinating my precious pumpkins, I can be found bowling in Bayonne, watching old films at the Angelica, or hanging out with my cat and writing music. What about you? How'd you get into hydroponics, Erin?
Well, June will be my 2nd year anniversary of working at New York Sunworks, and it's all thanks to one of my best friends, Trevor, who's also a member of the Grow Support Team. And I believe Trevor has like 5, 6, how many schools here today? Five schools of Trevor's here today. Well, Trevor recommended me for this job when he heard how much I love plants and I love people. And I grew up gardening out on Long Island, where I'm from, also very similar to Miss Cobb, who's here with PS279. Miss Cobb is also from Long Island. But I love animals and spend most of my time with my dog, Maggie.
And where are my schools today? Where are you? Woo, yeah! K344, I see you back there. I love how our different journeys have brought us to the same place. But enough about us, we gotta get back to business. So coming up is our second group of presentations, and this group is all about innovating. Students will share how they've created their own hydroponic systems and imagine solutions to current climate challenges. From prototyping new tools for the labs to exploring alternative substrates, these innovators take their hydroponic classrooms to the next level.
And there's more. We will also hear from 2 more extraordinary speakers. Talario Watkins, a young farmer and entrepreneur, will tell us about how when he was just 7 years old, he founded Tiger Mushroom Farm.
What's a tiger mushroom?
I don't know, but we're gonna find out.
But first, raise your hand if you think plants can grow in space. Okay, so for all of you non-believers, we're going to hear from Dr. Ilison Blancafor, a senior scientist at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. He will enlighten us about his amazing research on space crops.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ilison Blancafor. I'm a scientist at NASA's Kennedy Space Center, and I work with plants. So today I'm going to be telling you about growing plants in space. I know you all are all working on hydroponics to better grow plants here on Earth. So one thing you may be asking is, why is NASA interested in plants? Well, it is because plants provide many benefits to astronauts as they try to live longer in space. And some of the benefits that plants provide are shown here. First, plants provide a source of fresh food. Here you can see astronauts Mark Kelly and Kel Lindgren feasting on some fresh lettuce plants on the International Space Station. So most food that the astronauts eat on the space station are prepackaged food. However, being away from Earth, they often desire freshly harvested veggies and fruits. Second, plants revitalize the air. They produce oxygen that we need to breathe and remove carbon dioxide through the process of photosynthesis. This picture of happy astronauts, Shannon Walker and Mike Hopkins, actually leads me to my next point on why plants are important for exploring space. Astronauts love working with plants, well, for the most that I know, just like many of us love gardening here on Earth. Plants, especially in places that are tight and confined, which will be the case for future human space habitat, at least in the early years of space exploration, can make you feel a connection to Earth. And plants have so many other benefits, like you see here. I already mentioned food, air, and happiness. Plants can also serve as biological factories to produce medicines and other useful materials. However, before we can effectively use plants in space, we have to overcome many challenges. First, we need to understand how the space environment, which can be challenging, affects how plants grow and develop. And this has to do more with understanding their biology. Second, there are also engineering challenges. And the engineering challenges really align well with what you are working on with hydroponics. So there are many challenges of growing plants in space. I show a few here. Okay, first, one of the things that we have to consider, are they safe to eat? Second, can we control plant diseases? And third, in space, there's really not much space, at least for now, because we have to grow plants in these small chambers. Okay? And last but not the least, okay, and this is related to your hydroponics work. Okay, in space, plants can be stressed and because of too much or too little water. So on the topic of water, okay, unlike on Earth, reduced gravity in space can affect how water behaves. And so water, as you can see in this picture here, can get to places where it's not supposed to go. And so going back to the point I made earlier, what plants can suffer stress because of too little or too much water. And so in fact, the work that you're doing with hydroponics could somehow give us some new ideas on how to better manage water in space so plants can grow really well. And something that I really enjoy, because I'm a plant biologist, is to use biological concepts to solve problems of growing plants in space. And one question that I'm really interested in answering is, can we develop plants like this tomato here that have more fruit than leaves so we can maximize the limited amount of space that we can allocate for growing plants? And so you can see from this picture here that the answer is obviously yes. And so with that, I end this presentation by posing two challenge questions that I'd like you to think about. First, how can we adopt plants for space travel, given the problems that I mentioned? Second, how can scientists and engineers work together to create a sustainable, and I know you're all working on sustainability as well, closed systems to support human life in space? And so we can answer these questions the scenario that, like the one I show here, where we have greenhouses lush with plants attached to humans' habitats on Mars, for example, could become a reality. And thank you and good luck to with you with your projects.
Hello, my name is Jocelyn Pasio, and I attend Jose Marti STEM Academy in Union City, New Jersey. My research project is canopy transpiration in different tree species and their response to soil moisture in a changing climate. At Jose Marti, we have different hydroponic laboratories where we grow and observe plants with water and nutrients without soil, and variables like humidity, temperature, and nutrient delivery can be precisely measured and managed. Now, canopy transpiration is the movement of water from the roots through the vascular system and out through the leaf stomata. In New Jersey, we typically consist of downer soil, which our plants thrive from, whereas in hydroponics, we use rock wool because it is able to contain moisture well. In a hydroponic system, plants don't need to evolve mechanisms to conserve water because water is always available. It's efficient and it is able to hold itself well where agriculture and forestry would be constrained. But hydroponics lack the ecological complexity and resilience that forests provide, therefore it's efficient but isolated. Contrasting this with my data with natural soil, there are many different types of tree species that are not able to hold themselves well where I collected my data from, which was in Kaufman Woods and Hay Barn, which are water-limited regions. Therefore, I investigated the global temperatures in New Jersey, which were significantly higher in 2023 compared to in 2021. And something to keep in mind is that soil moisture is a key driver of transpiration, and that 2023 was the warmest year ever recorded up until that year. Now, it can be seen that for both sugar maple and black walnut, there was less canopy transpiration rates going on in 2023 compared to in 2021 for Kaufman Woods, and it can be said the same for in Hay Barn. With the increase in global temperatures, evapotranspiration is rising and is causing more prolonged and increased droughts. Tree species like sugar maple and black walnut that once thrived in stable climates and environments are now under stress. So what do these systems teach us? From trees, we learn about adaptation, resilience, and nutrient delivery, whereas in hydroponics, we can see the potential for precision control and food production in water-scarce environments. As climate continues to change, we must study and respect the mechanisms that trees use to cope with stress. Moreover, we are able to tell and see how environments are able to better later in the future. The future for water management in forestry and agriculture lie in a hybrid understanding of forest canopy and the innovations of hydroponics. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cameron. And my name is Perry. And we're from West End Secondary School. We're here today to talk about our hydroponic multi-tool, the steps we took to create it, and the effects and benefits we found it to have.
Well, let's first start talking about NGSS practices. I'm sure some of you have heard of or are familiar with them, but for those of you who haven't, what are they?
NGSS, Next Generation Scientific Standards, are a set of practices that describe behaviors that scientists engage in as they investigate and study theories, ideas, and concepts.
We've seen firsthand how much work it is to take care of a system, especially when there's surrounding chaos or you're working alone. This inspired us to create a tool that can help mitigate the problems we had in our hydroponic elective.
Whether it was time and space management, cost, or new farmer struggles with tools and certain concepts of hydroponics, etc. In our process of developing the tool, the first step was measuring the hose, reservoir rim, pruning blades, and more. We then converted the measurements and came up with an idea and layout for the tool and proceeded to create a 3D scale through Tinkercad.
We then hit print, and even though we had numerous fails, we learned from them each time. For example, our first print ended up like a complete mess, but we decided to turn our models vertically so the 3D printer could print the curves needed without ending up like spaghetti. And it still ended up being like a disaster, but that's not the point.
In the end, we were able to create a multi-tool that combines an EC and pH pen, a pollination brush, a hose clip, and pruners.
We believe that having all these together is able to decrease the time it takes to manage a system, be more space efficient, and reduce chaos caused by the distribution and management of individual tools, as well as increased ease of use, which can incentivize more people to join and stick with hydroponics.
The multi-tool is also a more cost-effective and waste-reducing alternative to purchasing multiple tools that only have a singular function. Due to its detachable parts, it's easier to control cleanliness and sterility, which can prevent diseases from being passed to healthy plants.
Once again, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Perry.
And thank you for listening.
Welcome to our presentation on finding an alternate substrate. My name is Adil.
My name is Ihan. My name is Ion.
We are from PS 214, Class 401. Creating an alternate substrate. Rock wool is a very efficient substrate. And rock wool is the substrate we use in hydroponics. Rock wool is a cotton candy-like substance. It is whipped up molten rock. That made all of us wonder, can we make an alternate substrate just like rock wool, just as efficient, but different? A good substrate alternative should have the ability to drain water, porosity, or the ability to attain water, space for oxygen, so the roots of the plant can absorb the oxygen, and the ability to transmit nutrients or inertness.
So we did an experiment where we took materials such as gauze, coffee filter, and cotton, all those things that let water through, and we put them in a special type of order that we thought that would be as nearly as good as the rock wool, or maybe even better. And after a few weeks, we saw that most of them did germinate the plant, but weren't as nearly as good as the rock wool. So we analyzed the problems in the alternate substrates, and we found out that one of the problems was water retention and drainage. Water retention and drainage is important for plants' growth because it lets the water through and goes to the plant, and it is also carrying nutrients with it, which helps with the plant's growth. And if it isn't able to drain the water, then the plant will drown and rot. So we did an experiment where we took sponges the same size as rock wool, and we saw which one absorbed more. And the rock wool absorbed 80 milliliters, while the sponge absorbed 60 milliliters. After 5 minutes, the rock wool took 5 more milliliters, while the sponge could take less. So overall, the rock wool was better in absorbing the water.
A substrate should be able to drain water. If the substrate is not able to drain water, it won't be able to germinate and it will rot. Next one. Porosity is the measurement of empty space in a rock or a material. It is important for plants and their growth. Plants need an environment that has empty spaces, roots. In a rock wool substance that has empty spaces, but it's also strong enough to hold the plant for support. Did our alternate substrate have porosity? Plants need a porous substrate to allow plants to take in gases and growth and breeding. They need to exchange these gases because it's very important for the plant's survival, just like all living things. Without these gases, plants cannot grow.
Plants take in oxygen through their roots, while carbon dioxide is taken through the leaves for photosynthesis. Roots respire in similar ways to humans and animals needing oxygen to convert photosynthesis. This process also releases carbon dioxide back into the soil. Inertness is the process where the plants are able to get the nutrients from the environment. Inertness is important for the plants because it gets the capillary action. We measured the size of our rock wool roots and our substrates roots that we made, and the rock wool had more longer roots, which means that the rock wool got more nutrients. We grew corn in the tower system, and it took all the nutrients that all the other plants died. Observations: the plants germinated in almost all the alternate substrates and in the rock wool. The plant's growth and root growth was greater in the rock wool supported plants. The plant growth after 4 weeks was greater in the rock wool than in the alternate substrate. There was minimal rotting in the alternate substrate, while there was no rotting in the rock wool substrate.
In conclusion, a alternate substrate can be made, but you must check for the following. You have to check for water retention and drainage, meaning to hold the water and obviously drain it, and to monitor if the plants are absorbing nutrients, or in this case, inertness. And you have to make sure the substrate is porous enough, meaning it has holes for oxygen, so the roots can absorb the oxygen. Thank you, everybody, for your attention.
Hello, my name is Austin.
I am Chase.
My name is Cole.
We are second graders from PS 176 in Brooklyn. Our presentation today is who are pollinators and why are they becoming endangered. Before we learn about pollinators, let's find out what pollination is. Pollination is when pollen moves from the boy flower called the amphicoprus to the girl flower called the stigma. This helps flowers grow and make seeds. Pollination can happen in many ways. Animals like bees and butterflies help flowers. Wind and water can help too. When a pollinator visits a flower, pollen sticks to them. Pollination is super important. It helps flowers grow and make seeds, fruits and seeds. If flowers don't get pollinated, many plants cannot make food.
Who are pollinators? Many different insects can do it. Bees, their fuzzy bodies pick up pollen. Flies, they like dark colors. Butterflies, they love bright flowers and sweet smells. Moths, they like flowers that bloom at night. Wasps, some lay eggs and help pollinate. There are 3 big reasons why pollinators are in trouble. 1, they are losing their homes. People are building cities and cutting down trees, making it hard for pollinators to find places to live and food to eat. 2, bad chemicals like pesticides hurt pollinators and make them sick. 3, the weather is changing, which confuses pollinators. This is a problem because they help plants grow our food. Did you know that beekeepers lose over 30% of honey each year? And that's about 19% of butterflies might disappear. There are over 20,000 types of bees. 2 of the biggest groups are honeybees and bumblebees.
Beekeepers have noticed that there are fewer bees in hives now than before. Bees and other pollinators help 85% of flowers grow and make 2 out of every 3 of our crops. They help make a lot of the food we eat, so we need to take care of our bees. Bees need trees because trees give them a home. But bee homes are endangered. To help bees, we can build quiet areas for them to make nests. It is a great way to give them a safe home. All you need are a few materials: paper, tin can, toilet paper rolls, scissors, and a pencil. First, place 2 toilet paper rolls in the tin can. Then, cut the paper into small squares. Roll the paper around the pencil to create small tubes. Then, decorate your tin can, and then hang outside and enjoy. By creating a safe place for bees, we can make sure they become less endangered. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laya.
And I'm Francie, and we're 5th graders from Hunter College Elementary School.
And we wanted to test how the color of the light will affect the growth of a plant. As more people live in cities around the world, it is important to have a climate-friendly way to grow food for them all. Hydroponics is one of the solutions. We were curious about how lights worked in our hydroponic systems and if they could be made more effective.
Plants need water, light, and nutrients to grow. In this project, we focused on the light. Sunlight has a range of energy, including the visible light spectrum, made up of all the colors of the rainbow. We began to wonder, are all colors of light absorbed equally by the plant? Do they all use the colors of light for photosynthesis?
Photosynthesis is the process in which plants convert light, water, and carbon dioxide into chemical energy in the form of glucose. This process is fundamental to almost all forms of life on Earth. Photosynthesis provides the oxygen that we breathe and acts as a base for most food chains.
We settled on our testable question. Does the color of light affect the growth, color, taste, and texture of the plant? Our hypothesis was that the color of the light and that the plant is grown underneath will affect the plant's photosynthesis process, which will affect how the plant grows.
We planted gourmet lettuce seeds in Rockwool. We needed to figure out how we could change the color of the light for each individual plant without affecting all of our classmates' plants that were also growing in the NFT. So we created rectangles of colored cellophane that we staked into the rock wall to cover each plant. We grew the plants under different colored lights for 6 weeks and measured the height, width, and overall health of the plants.
We ran our experiment twice. The first time, the lettuce grown under the yellow cellophane grew slightly taller, slightly wider, and was thriving. Red came in a close second. In trial 2, we eliminated the green and orange light and focused only on the primary colors. At the end, we had the same results. Yellow had the most growth, and red was a close second.
Here we are holding 2 of the plants at the end of experiment 1. You can see how drastic the results are. This did not support our hypothesis that red and blue light would be best for plants, and it was not consistent with most of the published literature that we read, which stated that yellow is one of the worst colors to grow plants under. If we had time, we would continue to run this experiment and change different variables like the type of plant, or the light colors, or even change the setup to fully cover the plant in color.
Hydroponics is an efficient and climate-friendly way to feed people in urban areas. Knowing which colors of light grow the healthiest, fastest, and tastiest plants can help scientists and engineers make hydroponic systems even more effective. Thank you.
And a special thanks to our teachers,
Miss McCauley, Miss Amy, and Miss Abrams. Thanks for listening.
Hello everyone. We are representing the John L. Steptoe School PS 181. My name is Ethan Morris.
My name is Chloe Murray.
And I'm Sabria Herringane. And our teachers, Miss Casimir and Mr. Lazarino. Whoa! There are fish in the hydroponics classroom.
Problem, what is the purpose of having fish in a hydroponics lab?
Let's think, how can the fish help us in the hydroponics classroom? Hypothesis, we think something from the fish's body gives nutrients to the plants.
The materials we use are water, fish, seeds, gravel, and fish food.
Time for research. Let's dive deep. This is what we know. The fish we need are tilapia, carp, or catfish. These fish need special kinds of foods. It's not like our typical fish flakes. They need commercial fish food because it's nutritious for the fish and it helps with the growth.
For the experiment, first we fill the tank with water. We let the fish get accustomed to the water because a fast switch in temperature could cause the fish to go into shock and die. Then we let the fish go in water and we fed them daily. We planted the seeds and watched them do their magic.
This is a before picture of our foundation that we have started with. And this is the soon-to-be plants above the fish tank.
After 2 long months, this is a picture from the end of our experiment. The fish tank on the bottom and top is the plants. Notice the filter that transfers nutrients to the fish by purifying the water.
To conclude, we learned that the fish and the plants both benefit from each other. The waste poop of fish provides nutrients for plants and vegetables grown in a hydroponic grow bed. The plants then purify the water, which will return to the tank, creating a closed-loop system. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Start now. Hi everyone, welcome to our presentation.
Our presentation is titled Self-Drained Hydroponic Sustainable Working Model.
My name is Richard.
My name is Saul. My friend Marquise is sick. I'll be filling in. We are from P469X, the Bronx School for Continuous Learners. We are a District 75 school.
We are showing you our hydroponic model. This is an easy way to grow plants in our city.
In our city, we did not have a lot of land. That's why growing plants with water nutrients is helpful.
Step 1 is our question. How can we build a self-drained and sustainable hydroponic working model?
Step 2 is make a guess. We can make observations of our hydroponic systems, collect reusable materials, put them together, and see what happens. We guess that our system will work.
Step 3 is procedure. What do we do? First, we observe and talk about how hydroponic systems and their parts work.
Second, we gathered our materials. We compared our materials to the parts of our hydroponic system in the science class at our school.
Third, we compared our materials and assigned jobs for them.
Fourth, we put our materials together to make our model.
Last, we started to use our model and we collected data.
This is us collecting data. This is us putting our model together. We looked at how pieces fit together.
These are all of our materials. Ta-da! This is our self-drained hydroponic sustainable working model.
Step 4 is our data. In the first week, our plant had 2 leaves. Then each week, it grew more and more leaves. By the last week, we had 7 leaves. Our plant was growing.
Step 5 is our conclusion. What do we learn? The hydroponic system that we made with materials from our school worked. We have learned that we can grow plants using a hydroponic system made with simple reusable materials from around the house. We want people in our community to be able to grow their own hydroponic plants.
And anyone can do it.
Remember, you're in the middle. Hi everybody, we're 188X and this is our living statue garden. We made paper mache sculpture with recycled books and homework and newspaper and old arch project and mucho glue.
We used recycled water and soda bottles and orange juice containers and old buckets and jugs and a lot of water. It was very wet and really messy and a lot of fun. I learned that plants need sunlight and water and fruit to grow and art also.
Then we decorate our statues with plants and leaves and flowers that we grow inside. And we took a lot of pictures of our sculptures all around our school. And I learned about paper mache and flowers. So much different fun things. This is our living statue garden and it's still growing.
First, what we did is we cut all of the different papers, then we glued it all together with paper mache, and next we paint all the statues and colors. Lastly, we put all the plants and flowers in our sculpture. And as you can see, there's some sculptures in the lockers, some sculptures in the library, some sculptures in the gym, and some sculptures in different type of places. Thank you, everybody, and we're 188X, and this is our living statue garden. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tolera Watkins, the founder of Tiger Mushroom Farm.
My journey into mushroom farming started when I was just 7 years old. My first Cub Scout project was growing catgrass and basil, and I loved watching them grow. I wanted to keep going even after the project had ended. That's when I asked my parents if I could start growing my own mushrooms at home, and they said yes. Getting started wasn't easy, but we took small steps. First, we learned about mushrooms and how they grow. Then, we set up a space in our house and used shelves and controlled temperatures to make sure the mushrooms had the right environment. I started selling at local farm markets, and then before I knew it, we expanded into a real farm. Of course, there were challenges. People didn't understand why mushrooms were important or why they needed them. And as a kidpreneur, I had to balance school, business, and my other activities. But I kept going because I believed in what I was doing. Tiger Mushroom Farms is more than a business. It helps my community by providing fresh, healthy food and teaching people about sustainable farming. Mushrooms are great for the environment because they grow with little space and resources. And they help break down waste into nutrients for soil. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that age doesn't define success. Passion and persistence do. I've also learned that farming is more about more than food. It's about helping people and protecting the environment and inspiring others that follow their dreams, looking ahead. I want to grow Tiger Mushroom Farms into something bigger. I want to teach more kids about farming. That's why I started the Garden Club Project, to expand into new projects and to show people how mushrooms and agriculture can help create a better and healthier world. So if you have a big idea, go for it. And you never know how far it can take you. Thank you.
I don't know about you, Erin, but I could really use a good stretch.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Can you help me and all of our friends out here today? I want to call in a thunderstorm.
Absolutely.
Okay, can everybody just call out their favorite hydroponic crops right now? Basil, tomatoes, lettuce. Okay. Let's bring it down. Okay. So, if your favorite crop is basil, what I want you to do is start drumming on your lap, okay? Drum. Keep on drumming, basil kids. And now if your favorite hydroponic crop is tomato, let's rub our hands together. Basil kids, keep going. Do you hear that? The rain is starting to come. Okay, and then if our favorite crop is lettuce, let's start stomping our feet, okay? So we're stomping, we're patting, we're rubbing. That sounds like a thunderstorm to me. Keep it going. Okay, and then the sun is coming. We're gonna stretch. Stretch up big and tall. If you wanna stand up, you can. Let's just shake it out. Let that sun break through the clouds. Get out all that energy. Awesome, guys. And we can all sit back down. Great work, you guys. That was awesome. We are so impressed by how hard each and every one of you has worked in your hydroponic classrooms this year. But you know who we haven't mentioned yet? Your teachers. Our hydroponic classroom teachers work extra hard. They go above and beyond, putting in a ton of work and time to make sure you have the best possible experience growing crops in your classrooms.
When teachers have completed 2 years of hydroponics training, they become New York Sunworks certified teachers. An incredible group of 25 teachers have been certified this year. So let's hear it real quick for our newly certified Sunworks teachers.
All right, and we know that this would not be possible without the continuous work of all of our hydroponic teachers. Let's hear it again for all of the teachers who work with you every day and who made today possible. Awesome. Now, we have one more group of presenters for you all. Our final presentations are all about how we can act to create change.
But right before that, we're going to hear from Alexis Harley, the Senior Vice President and Chief Risk and Resilience Officer at the New York Power Authority. She spent her entire career in the energy industry, and Alexis oversees the risk management, resilience, and sustainability functions at NYPA.
After Alexis, more students like you will share how they are acting as global citizens, engaging in community events, and expanding their learning beyond their hydroponic classrooms to solve not only issues in their own city, but also issues around the world. Students will present their work on cultural crops, growing to feed their local food communities, getting involved with national farming organizations, and more.
So let's give a warm welcome to Alexis and our last group of presenters.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, Sunworks participants. This has been a fantastic opportunity for me to come and listen to all the different experiments that you have all performed all across the city, across all different areas related to sustainability. I am not a hydroponics specialist, nor am I a farmer, nor am I a NASA scientist, but I work in an energy company. And what I've heard today is actually, interestingly, still really relevant to the work that I do. And let me explain a little bit about that. So, a little bit about me. I also grew up in New York City. I love to be outdoors, even despite the fact that maybe the parks weren't quite so pretty as they are out in the suburbs. I had a huge imagination, and I really, really enjoyed reading and writing. But over time, I also found that I became really interested in math and science, and I also became quite good at it. I decided that it would be a really great idea to not have to choose one type of activity or another in terms of my studies and my career. So I decided to study engineering, where I can bring together creativity as well as math and science discipline together. I got my degree in engineering also right here in New York City. You can see me graduating with my friends. It was a great experience. And then from there, went on to many different types of roles in my career. So, of course, being an engineer, as you can see from the top picture, I spent a lot of time trying to do problem solving, working to implement new technologies in the energy space. And I applied my math and science learning very much all the time. But what I also learned was super important to do was to be able to communicate about it. So the picture with the phone is showing how important it is to be able to explain to others what you've learned, what you're doing, and why it matters. And that makes a really big impact in terms of trying to make change and get things done. Events like today, like your student conference, are a perfect opportunity for you to start to see what that's like. It's as important for your learning to be able to do these experiments, but it's also important for you to be able to share it with others and inspire them as well. I know when I was introduced, I have a really, really, really long title that's kind of hard to understand. So let me explain a little bit about the work that I do now, which is quite different than just pure engineering. So there's 3 aspects to my role. The first one is risk management. Risk management is about asking questions like, what is my best move? What could go wrong? If I did a different move, could something go better? How do I make those choices? The second aspect of my role is resilience or resiliency. Resiliency asks questions like, how can I be prepared for if something does not go according to my plans? And if something really, truly does not go well with my plans, how do I bounce back? How do I recover from that? So you'll see here, there's a picture of palm trees. They're a great example because they're resilient. When palm trees face a storm, they bend, but they don't break. This is a picture of what they call the calm after the storm. And you'll see how palm trees will lean, and they might even look a little bit bent, but they haven't been broken. It's about being able to withstand. The final aspect to my role probably really resonates the most with the students in this room, and that's directly around sustainability. Sustainability asks questions like, how does this impact not just my generation, but future generations? If I do something, could there be an unintended consequence? It's about thinking further into the future and more about how things connect. Saying the word connect, I hope maybe some of you have noticed too that I've drawn a circle around all 3 of them. and that the circles cross over somewhere in the middle. Some of our older students here might recognize that as a Venn diagram. In the center of the Venn diagram, that's where everything interconnects. So, by example, again, when you think of your experiments and when you're hearing the experiments of the other students today, that's great inspiration to help you make connections together and to think about how else you can creatively solve problems. Let's go on. A quick note about just my company. I mentioned it's a power company, and our focus is to produce clean power and transmit that clean power across New York State. But we also have to be mindful about affordability. Can customers afford to pay for their energy? And we have to think about sustainability. How do we create that energy and move that energy about with the least negative impact on the planet? This is why I really love the job that I do, and it intersects and brings a lot of that together. Many of you talked today about climate change, around sustainable practices, and about thinking, again, how things interconnect and make a difference. You can see now how this can relate to what you might do in your future careers. With that, here are some pictures of what is happening in the energy industry, because as we all know, it's changing quite a bit. In my company, we have, for a very long time now, almost 100 years, produced clean electricity just using the power of water. And if you look at the lower picture, now we're also looking to see how many other ways we can use the power of the sun to help supplement that generation of power. Some of the pictures in the middle show how we're using new technologies to help us in this space. So the top picture shows a control center. We're using data. We're using artificial intelligence. We're using machine learning because that helps us to do our experiments and make our analyses more efficient and quick. We're also using things like drones. I think many of you would recognize a picture of the drone in the middle, because that's helping us do things safer. We want to be able to inspect our energy equipment, and sometimes it's located in a place that's really hard to get to. When we use other types of technologies that don't need a person, it keeps somebody safe on the ground. The other aspect to point out is we have to connect the energy from where it's produced to where it's needed. Those are transmission lines, and we have to bring more and more of those across New York State, as well as across the country, and then globally. So just having something is never good enough. We have to get it to where it's actually needed in society. The most important additional aspect that we have to keep in mind, though, is if you look at the picture with the flower and our pollinator, the monarch butterfly, as we look to connect this energy, as we look to build more ways and more assets that produce that electricity that human beings need to live, to work, and even to power their cars now, we have to be mindful that we're not having a negative impact on nature. And what we're actually trying to do is find ways to work better with nature and integrate it into our approaches and how we operate. Another really important connection to all the stuff that I've heard today. Finally, about the future. What is this? What do you see? It's a blank page, and that is because you are the ones that are going to be filling it. The future is yours, and bringing forward your creativity, what you're learning through your hydroponic classrooms, through your math and science teachers, and from your literature, your drawing and your writing teachers, bringing that all together, making those connections, and then communicating that forward to others, sharing what you've learned so they can make connections as well, that is what is going to help really make an impact in our changing global climate. Great job today. Please enjoy your conference, and thank you for having me attend.
Hi, my name is Amalia.
I'm Leonie.
I'm June. And I'm Maya. And we're from the Brooklyn Urban Garden Charter School, also known as BUGS.
Today we're going to be presenting about the popolo plant.
Popolo is an herb that's native to South America. Its flavor tastes like cilantro, and it has many names. It's an ancient herb belonging to the Asteraceae family, and the word itself is derived from the Nahuatl language of the Aztecs. It means butterfly.
But what is the cultural significance? Popolo is incorporated into salads, salsas, and garnishes because of its unique flavor. In some Mexican restaurants, there's a popolo plant in the center of the table that you can take a leaf from and put in your food. But aside from this, it represents a heritage that has been passed down through generations. When you're taking care of it in the hydroponics lab, it should get 12 to 16 hours of light per day. The pH should be 5.5 to 6.5. The lab temperature should be 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The water temperature should be 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and it should get enough oxygen and only use organic pest management.
Adding on to that thought, what are the differences between the native and hydroponics popolo plants? Well, one difference is the height. Native popolo plants only get up to 5 feet fully matured, while hydroponics popolo plants, depending on the number of nutrients the plant receives while it is still developing, it can grow taller or shorter. Predators. Yes, there are predators that eat the native popolo plants, but no, there are not in hydroponics popolo plants. Control. The native popolo plant naturally grows, so no, it's very hard to control, but in the hydroponics lab, yes, you can have precise control over the plant like the environment. Flavor. Cilantro-like, also similar to arugula and lime, and both are heat tolerant.
So why did we choose to present about the popolo plant in the first place? We chose to present about the popolo plant because Mr. Carlos, a staff member at Bugs, asked if we grew in the hydroponics lab. He showed so much excitement, so we decided to try growing it. Mr. Carlos shared what us growing and presenting about it meant to him. The fact that our school has a hydroponics lab that can incorporate the popolo plant into it is very meaningful to me. I'm happy that students get to learn more about it. Mr. Carlos.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Our 4th and 5th grade classes at PS1. Good morning, everybody. My name is Naya.
My name is Samaya.
And our school is PS151. Our 4th grade class and 5th grade classes investigated the health benefits of tea. We began our experiment by growing our own tea in our tea herbs in our hydroponics science lab. The big question is, what are the health benefits of drinking and growing herbal tea? The hypothesis is the health benefits of drinking and growing your own herbs are very beneficial to our health. It's traditional and holistic to medicine that is still used today. The materials we use are seeds, wild bergamot, Roman chamomile, lemongrass, and common lemon balm. The rockwool was used to place the seeds inside. The water, it was placed on a timer to be watered automatically. The nutrients max to grow plants to help it grow. The hydroponic system was helped to locate in our science lab to help the plants grow. The string was used to help the herbs hang and dry. This is the steps on how we did it. To begin our experiment, we needed to select the herbs we wanted to grow. We selected wild bergamot, Roman chamomile, lemongrass, and common lemon balm. We learned that herbal tea have many properties, like antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory properties, cardiovascular health benefits,
Metabolic boost.
relaxation, and stress relief.
I can use some tea right now. And we learned many facts about tea and how each herb has its special benefits to our health. We also listed recommended consumption of herbal tea. As you see here, we had 3-step process in growing our own tea. Seeding, place the seeds in the rockwool, place in the hydroponic system. Place the rockwool pot in the hydroponic system. Make sure all the same seeds are in the same column. And lastly, monitor growth. Keep an eye on the herbs and make sure it's being watered and growing properly. In conclusion, herbal tea is easy to grow when having a hydroponic system. Without the system, it may take longer for the herbal tea to grow. People should also drink herbal tea to benefit from all the tea properties. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eitan Vaskovtsov. I am a senior at Rachel Carson High School. I've been working with our agriculture system for the past 3 years.
Hello, I am Lenny Guzman, current senior at Rachel Carson, the current FFA president too.
And I am Nikolai Pasternak. I am a junior at Rachel Carson High School, and I am the current vice president of the RCHS chapter for FFA.
So today we're going to be talking to you guys about what there is to CEA about FFA at RCHS.
Yes.
So today we're going to be...
A couple key points we can talk
So a couple of the key points are going to be the CEA program, why you should care, steps to get the certification, some of the CEA alumni at RCHS, and we're also going to talk briefly about the FFA. We're going to talk about what it is, why we joined it, and we're also going to talk about our goals for the future. So, what is the CEA program? CEA stands for Controlled Environment Agriculture. It's all about controlling growing conditions for plants. Some of the technology that we implement to help with these growing conditions include hydroponic systems, aquaponic systems, and vertical towers. One of its major focuses is on sustainability and food security, and what's really cool about it is that it allows you to have hands-on experience working with agricultural systems to help prepare you for your future if you choose to go work in either agriculture or other STEM-related fields. It also helps with innovation skills, leadership skills, and troubleshooting skills. So, one back. So, why should you care? Agriculture affects all of us every single day. The CEA program is important because it helps with food security issues. It tends to provide food to neighborhoods that are not able to get it. Having food and having fresh produce near you is always easier than waiting for it to get from some foreign market and then getting it when it's not as fresh. At CEA, we learn teamwork skills, we learn how to work together, and we learn how to be leaders in our own groups. It can lead to scholarships, it can lead to internships and possible help in college, and in general to further your career as agriculturists.
How do you get the CEA certificate? By completing lab and greenhouse learning hours, studying plant biology, systems, and sustainability, mastering the use of agricultural technology and data tracking tools. You must pass 6 hands-on practical exams: water quality, pest diseases and deficiencies, CEA routines, harvesting, professionalism, and closing the lab. You will use these to earn an industry certification from the USDA. This is the first cohort to take the CEA program, and down there is mine. This is where I found my voice and learned the useful skills in leadership and horticulture to jumpstart my career in agriculture and excel in my position at as RCHS FFA chapter president. So what is FFA? FFA stands for Future Farmers of America. It's an over 100-year-old national organization that offers competitions, leadership training, and internship opportunities for students interested in careers in agriculture and natural resources. FFA connects students with industry professionals through supervised agriculture experiences and encourages civic responsibility, professionalism, collaboration. The FFA is nationally recognized in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico.
So now, why did all of us choose to join FFA?
And it's not just because of the jackets. I know they're cool, but you guys will get them eventually.
Yes.
So, starting off, FFA teaches soft skills and career preparedness. It also helps to increase self-confidence by giving speeches in front of an audience, just like this one. Then, FFA also has a network of more than 850,000 students nationwide. FFA also helps to build leadership skills through officer positions, including president, vice president, sentinel, and many more. Also, you can acquire honors degrees, awards, and college funding through FFA. And finally, experience with FFA greatly improves college resumes and applications. And now, lastly, we have our goals for the future. So the first thing that we would like to tackle is to increase the size of our CEA greenhouse lab. Then, we would like to join forces with nearby companies and farmers. We would like to boost project success and student certificates, bring back former students to serve as mentors just like them. We would like to attend and participate in a national competition, and we would like to organize educational activities for our community and growing. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to FFA. Thank you to Miss O'Leary from
Miss O'Leary in the back, our teacher. Yup.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the importance of nutrients and why living things need them. Our names are Luna Castillo, Nina Franklin, Lily Johnston, Jet Madison,
and Melina Nunez.
We all know that plants need nutrients, but do you know what nutrients plants need? Well, the answer is oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon. Living things like humans also need nutrients. They help our bodies function. Living things like humans need macronutrients and micronutrients.
One example of macronutrients that we need is protein. Protein helps our muscles grow and gives us energy. Some foods that you should eat if you want protein are beans and chicken. Another macronutrient that we need is carbohydrates for our bodies and our brain. Gives us energy for our bodies and our brain. Some food that you should eat if you want carbohydrates is pasta and rice.
Humans also need fiber because fiber helps us poop. It also helps us control our cholesterol levels and blood sugar levels to fight diabetes. Some foods that have fiber in them is fruits, vegetables, and whole grain. We also need healthy fats because healthy fats keeps us warm and protects our organs and helps support normal growth and development in our bodies. Some foods that have healthy fats in it is fish, avocado, and seeds.
Humans also need micronutrients. Micro means small. We need smaller amounts of vitamins and minerals like vitamins A, B, C, D, etc. And some examples of minerals are calcium, iron, and sodium. Micronutrients are beneficial to our bodies because they help fight infections, boost our immune system so we don't get sick, make our bones strong, and help our organs do their job. Eating lots of fruits and vegetables will provide many vitamins and minerals that we need to be healthy and strong. All of these vegetables shown are grown in our greenhouse. As you can see from this slide, if you eat the vegetables grown in your greenhouse classrooms, you will get a lot of vitamins and minerals you need. I mean, look how many minerals you can get in one tomato.
So, would you rather take a bunch of boring vitamins or eat these delicious foods? If you want to be healthy and strong, keep eating foods like these. Here are some foods that we've made in our greenhouse before. We've made pico de gallo with tomatoes and cilantro.
We use basil and parsley to make our herbari, and also made parsley with our yummy greenhouse basil.
And last but not least, we've also made sauteed vegetables with red peppers, purple kale, and rainbow chard. As you have heard from our presentation today, our greenhouse harvests provide us with essential nutrients to grow healthy and remain strong. So keep trying different healthy foods and tasting all the herbs and vegetables you grow in your greenhouse classroom.
Thank you for listening to us from PS84!
Hello, my name is Zaire, and I'm in the 8th grade.
Hello, my name is Shoel, and I'm in the 7th grade.
Hello, my name is Shamir, and I'm in the 7th grade.
And we are representing Launch Charter School.
And Launch High School. This project is about our seed to success. Skin check, skin check. Is your skin hydrated for the summer as well? Let me introduce you to our hydroponic skin care segment. Introduction to our hydroponic skin care segment. What is the What is the plant business? Our class was able to show love to our lab while growing plants that are extremely beneficial to nurturing and grooming our skin. The products that we use are as follows: lemon balm, shea butter, mango butter, goat's milk soap, oatmeal soap, and emulsifying wax. What we love about our hydroponics lab. Plants are essential for the environment, and as you all know, our hydroponics lab is the best resource for growing and cultivating food for sustainability. We also get to have a community lunch with the herbs, fruits, and vegetables that we grow.
Where are all of my folks from Africa? Do you know about Heman Bekele? He is the driving force behind our inspiration to experiment with our products. Heman Bekele is a 14-year-old scientist from Ethiopia who wanted to tackle skincare. He developed the topical cancer-fighting skin soap, and it won him the 3M Young Scientist Challenge. With the properties of shea butter infused with lemon balm from our lab, we hope that someday skin cancer can be eradicated with the long-term use of shea butter, lemon balm, and other paramount medicines that can break grounds in curing skin cancer.
Do you have a weak immune system? You need lemon balm. Are you always inflamed? Do you not get enough sleep? You need lemon balm. Benefits of lemon balm. Immune booster, helps defend against infections. Improves sleep, relaxes the nervous system and reduces symptoms of insomnia. Anti-inflammatory, maintains inflammation, arthritis, and irritable bowel syndrome. Antiviral properties, helps alleviate the symptoms of viral infections.
The proof is in the data. As you can see, our observation on lemon balm extract on the skin appears to have made a difference from each picture. Lemon balm infuses shea butter, helps with hydration, and acts as a natural exfoliant and mitigate dead skin.
Here's the tea. We use the lemon balm to make iced tea, and here are the benefits. Immune booster. It helps lower blood pressure and boosts liver health or weight loss. It also fights inflammation. It serves as an anti-inflammant and fighting off illnesses such as cancer and Alzheimer's disease. It protects with antioxidants. It helps destroy harmful molecules that can cause damage to cells. And it fights bacteria. It helps to fight off bacteria that can be considered harmful. But wait, there's more. This is lemon balm infused soap. A great way to use our herbs from our hydroponics lab to promote healthy skin.
Lemon balm shea butter, improves skin quality with daily use.
Lemon balm extraction, the process in order to extract the herbs from the leaves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Pepper Perfect 2.0 by the Brooklyn Brownstone School, made by Rex Anderson, Kali Ortiz, and Noel Roberts.
What is hydroponics? Hydroponics is an indoor playground for plants. In this, you need sunlight, the fan, warmth, rock wool, and nutrient water. We grew lots of plants, including peppers, lettuce, and herbs. For the peppers, we crossbred them.
We have crossbred these peppers, bell and jalapeno, to see what they taste like. Now we have 4 pepper plants: CB, CJ, HB, and HJ.
If we combine the different pepper plants, then they will become the same because they will grow together.
Experiment. We did this in multiple ways. First, we planted the seeds in the rock wool. Then we put in the seed cart and give it water. After they are halfway grown, we move them to the VCS, vine crop system. After that, we start crossbreeding the peppers.
Oh, no.
We crossbred them, physically crossing the plants, shaking the plants, and having a fan blow on the plants. This was for our 2 hybrid plants. Here we have a chart with the recordings that we found. It's based off of bell jalapeno, hybrid, and control peppers. The bell hybrid pepper on the recording chart says it's light green and looks and smells like control bell. On the control bell, it says light green, more separated, and it has a lighter scent. On hybrid jalapeno, it's red, more shriveled, and the seeds are a different shape. Finally, control jalapeno, dark green, more compact, and has a heavier scent.
Here we have student observations. We made a data chart about what the peppers taste like. First, we have the bell pepper, which is least spicy. Second, we have the crossbreed bell pepper, which is a little spicy. Third, we have the crossbreeded jalapeno, which is mid-spicy. Fourth, we have the regular jalapeno, which is the most spicy. This is just one example of our observations.
Results. So, the least spicy turns out to be the hybrid bell and the control bell, and the most spicy turns out to be the control jalapeno and hybrid jalapeno. Conclusion. The peppers have not fully merged together yet, but we discovered that the traits of the control bell and jalapeno went into the hybrids. Their taste was not what we expected. The hybrids were not in the middle of the spiciness scale, but they were on the sides.
Hello everyone, my name is Dion.
I'm Kamora.
And I'm Malika, and we are from
Brooklyn Democracy Academy.
Our presentation compares the use of fish-generated nutrients and maxi growth in cucumber plant growth. These are our nutrients. And the purpose of our investigation is to determine whether or not fish-generated nutrients can increase the growth rate of cucumbers, to also promote sustainability in our school by preserving water and saving financial resources, and to also use more organic crops in our school system and local community. And these are our vine crop system.
So how did we carry out this investigation? We carried it out by using 2 separate vine crop systems, one including MaxiGrow and one using fish nutrients. While doing this, we made sure to keep controlled variables the same, like light, temperature, water volume, and more. During this, we planted 5 cucumber seedlings and we measured them over the course of 6 weeks. Here's an image of us transplanting and us also checking the EC of the water. Here's also an image of our control group, the MaxiGrow, and this is at week 5, and the experimental group, which uses our fish nutrients. This is me and Dion, and we're collecting data from the cucumbers. On the right, you can see the fish-generated nutrients, and on the left, you can see the MaxiGrow.
Experimental results between the control group and experimental group. We compared the average length, weight, number, and sizes of the cucumbers, and these are the results. What do these results indicate? Do cucumber grow faster with MaxiGrow or aquaponics nutrients? The cucumber in the control group has about the same average length as those in the experimental group. In addition, average weight of the cucumber in the control group is less than those in the experimental group. However, there were more cucumbers harvested from the control group than the experimental group. It seems as though there is a greater cucumber yield when growing crops with MaxiGrow when considering the weight and the number of cucumbers. Since we only did this experiment once, our next steps are to carry out more investigations so that we can know which nutrients work better. Even though cucumber cultivated with MaxiGrow has a greater yield, our school will still be using aquaponics nutrients to grow crops because it promotes sustainability and helps save money in buying nutrients. If you have an aquaponics system in your school, we encourage you to use fish nutrients to grow your crops, and here's why. It is a sustainable means,
less water usage, and also you can save money on buying nutrients.
it decreases eutrophication, and grow organic crops. Thank you.
All right. We want to thank all of the wonderful farmer scientists and guest speakers that made our conference so incredible today.
And also many thanks to everyone watching this online after the event. It's so encouraging for all of us to come together to learn and celebrate sustainability science and climate education.
And let's give it up one more time for our sponsors, Con Edison, CBC, EY Delta, and the New York Power Authority. We are honored to be joined by representatives from elected officials' offices, Dan Wiley and Tiffany Echevarria from the U.S. Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez's office, and representatives New York State Senator Roxanne Persand's office and Assembly Member Al Taylor's office. We are so thankful that New York State Senator Brad Hoylman Siegel for the proclamation that he has given us today.
It's great to see so many of you here in person and to learn about the amazing projects and different approaches you've discovered in your classrooms. We hope you all know that no matter the direction you take your learning, you can all find a way to do our part to make a positive impact in our communities and protect our planet.
Now, Erin, help me out.
What's up, Sage?
I want us all to do a call and response to encourage us to sow the seeds of a better tomorrow. Can everyone please help me out really quick? When I say farmer, you say scientist. Farmer!
Scientist!
Farmer!
Scientist!
Farmer!
Scientist! That was amazing. Everyone give yourselves another round of applause if you're committed to making the world a better place.